everyone, and welcome to another casual review. Today we are talking about The Simpsons Season 4. I have been watching a heck of a lot of Simpsons, and I love talking about it. I know I say this every time we move on to a new season, but I just really think The Simpsons back in the day was so good. I love all the jokes. They are just so funny. Sometimes when I'm just watching an episode, it just strikes me how much they just pack in as many jokes as they can. Sometimes during the scene there'll be it'll be kind of related, but it'll just be like something related like in that setting, and it'll just be like this complete standalone joke just for the heck of it. They just really wanted to do this funny joke, and so they have it there. It only takes away maybe like 5 to 10 seconds just for the joke, and it is almost always worth it, especially in the seasons 2 to I don't know, maybe 9 range. I might change my mind later as we go along, but in my head, that's like the golden age of The Simpsons, and so we are really just in the thick of it, and I am just having a great time. So many memorable episodes, so many classics. I have my little pamphlet booklet here, so let's just look through some of them. Oh, I actually just have to apologize. I am not wearing my Springfield Isotope shirt. I had to wash it. I was wearing it for too long. It was getting a little gross. So I switched. I'm wearing my Weezer shirt. Got nothing to do with The Simpsons. I apologize. Hopefully it will be washed by my Season 5 casual review. There's Camp Krusty. This is the one, lots of funny jokes in here. This is the one where Bart and Lisa, they end up going to Camp Krusty, and it ends up stinking a lot because Krusty, he just puts his name on whatever, even if it's pretty crappy. But I just love the jokes in here. I love the Camp Krusty song. I think my favorite joke in this particular episode is all the bullies. They're like the camp counselors, you know, like Jimbo and I forget the other bullies' names. All I can remember right now is Jimbo. But you know, the other three, the three bullies, and the camp leader, his name's Mr. Black. And so there's just a joke where they're all like the kids are eating imitation gruel, and like 40% of the kids can't tell the difference. And then it shows the bullies and Mr. Black, they're all eating this fancy dinner, and Mr. Black just goes, "Gentlemen, to evil," and he holds up a glass, and then it just cuts there. I really like how in this season they don't dwell that they just made a joke. They don't have time to dwell and sit in the jokes. They just give you the joke and then move on to the next funny scene before you even have time to catch your breath. Another one that I really like is Itchy and Scratchy, the movie. This is the one where Bart, he finally gets punished and he can't go see the movie because he has to be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Thank you, booklet. So they want him to be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court one day, so they have to punish him so then he'll learn. So he's not allowed to go to the Itchy and Scratchy movie. This one's really heartwarming. It has this scene in the future where Bart finally is Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and him and Homer, they walk to the movie theater and they brought the movie back. And so when they sit down, Homer's just like, "Which one's Itchy?" And Bart goes, "The mouse." And Homer just says, "Itchy's a jerk." Yeah, and lots of heartwarming moments in there. Lots of funny jokes in all of these episodes. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, Mr. Plow. I don't know why this one necessarily reached the high fame that it did, but Mr. Plow is the one where Homer, he gets drunk, runs his car into his other car. Yeah, at least he got the guy as good as they got him. And so he ends up getting a plow. He ends up buying one, and then to pay off the truck with the plow on it, he ends up shoveling driveways. He ends up becoming Mr. Plow, and that's how he advertises himself. There's a funny bit about his commercial on late night TV, and he's got his little jingle that everyone knows. I don't know, this one just seemed to elevate above the rest of the episodes as far as fame goes. This one is considered one of the best episodes of the whole series. Marge versus the Monorail. I was talking about how Mr. Plow reached high levels. I often hear on YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube about people talking about The Simpsons. Like I said, I've been reading the Simpsons subreddit a lot, and people regard Marge versus the Monorail as one of the best episodes in the whole series. I'm not sure if I quite agree with that, although it is a very good episode. My favorite guest appearances, I would say, is Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek, and I love how the mayor is introducing him, and he's like, "And may I just say, may the force be with you," and Leonard Nimoy just says, "Do you even know who I am?" And then later on in the episode, I like guest appearances when they have quick little cameos instead of being the main focal point of the episode. And near the end of the episode, he just has this big old quote thing, and he's just like, well, another day wraps up, and one of the guys is like, you didn't even do anything, and he just laughs and says, didn't I? And then I'm not a big Trekkie. He gets transported to his ship, like with the sparkly effect and the noise. I'm sorry, I probably just offended a lot of Trekkies. Lots of musical numbers in this series, and I used to be kind of annoyed by the musical numbers, but I absolutely love them now. Add more musical numbers, I want a musical number in every single episode. Bob's Burgers does this a lot, where they have like a song specialized to each episode. I want that in The Simpsons, because I just love the musical numbers. You got the Monorail song, that's what brought this to mind. You have the Mr. Plow jingle. This has the episode that takes place on Valentine's Day and then the President's Day, and Ralph is in love with Lisa, and so near the end of the episode they have a President's Day assembly, and they sing the Mediocre President song. It's just called I Love Lisa, and it has the Mediocre President song. I really want to memorize that song. And then you have the Camp Krusty song, lots of different musical numbers, and I really welcome them. Bring them all on. Like I said, I Love Lisa. I think it was very appropriate for this month now that we are into February. It's kind of interesting that they do a Valentine's Day and a President's Day episode all in one, but I guess it's just a February episode. I really like the radio show hosts that they pepper in through these episodes. What are their names? Oh, Bill and Marty. So this isn't unique to this season. They've been in all the other previous seasons, like during the snow day and stuff. Bill and Marty, they always have this funny back and forth. I'm not sure when they stop using them, and they never really become main characters. I think when we finally do end up seeing Bill and Marty is when Bart wins an elephant. That's probably in the next season. I want to say that's season 5 where Bart wins an elephant from the radio show. But in this one, like in I Love Lisa, Bill or Marty ends up playing the Monster Mash, and the other radio show host is just calling him out, like, you played the wrong record, didn't you? He's just, why are you doing this to me? And I just love their banter. It really sets up the episode. Oh, here's another episode that people often regard as one of the best episodes. It's the Last Exit to Springfield. This is the one where it's, that old plan, Lisa needs braces. That old plan, Lisa needs braces. And this is the one where Mr. Burns is trying to take away the dental plan of all the workers at the nuclear power plant, and Homer becomes the head of the union trying to fight it because he really needs the dental plan to pay for Lisa's braces. And tonally, I really like this one. I could really see this one being regarded as the best episode in the entire series. I think there are probably a couple ones that I like better in the coming season, the season 5 that I'm going to watch, but this one is really, really high up there. Another musical number, the one where Lisa's playing the guitar. I do have a gripe about this season, however. It is the first time we get a Simpsons clip show. And I get it, back in the day, clip shows were really popular for broadcast television. This is before the days of TiVo and streaming, and we didn't just have every episode we wanted at our fingertips. So on TV, they would have these clip shows that show all their funniest clips of the show. They're not that popular anymore because we live in the days of streaming, but I just... I don't like them, and it's kind of funny because I am watching all of these episodes in a row so quickly, so soon. Like, so during this clip show, I'm like, I've seen each one of these episodes this month, and I really don't want to watch it again. But you kind of do need to watch this particular episode because they have a funny April Fool's Day setting going around this, so because like Homer's in a coma. And they just keep on bringing up all these old clips, but the scenes that wrap around outside of the clips themselves are actually pretty funny. So it is still worth a watch, in my opinion. I feel like they do these clip shows when they are out of ideas and they need to fill up another episode. The Simpsons special, I feel, is kind of different because it's like their 137th episode. It's totally like a random number. And we'll get into this later when we actually get to the season with this particular clip show, but I feel like that one might be a little bit different. I love the Whacking Day episode, another song, Oh Whacking Day, but they actually have Barry White in it, which I think is really funny. I love just the way that he talks, and he's just like, I love the slither of a cool lady snake. Like, this is the episode that introduced Barry White to me, and he's always become like we always put Barry White on during February just because he's all like romantic and smooth. Anyways, that might be a little bit of a TMI for you guys. I have to say, though, out of this season, my favorite episode would be Homer the Heretic. And this is the one where Homer decides not to go to church that Sunday. It is too cold. He was dreaming that he was in his mom's womb, and he's just so warm and happy, and then like a hand comes into the womb and starts pulling him out, and then he wakes up and he's snuggled up in his bed, and like Marge is trying to pull him out of bed. I really like this episode because I feel like it touches on religion in a healthy and understanding way, but I particularly like the intro of this episode where it's just showing Homer enjoying the day while his family is at church. And it makes me really wish, like, you know, when you take a day off of work, you just need a mental health day, and it ends up not being worth it. Like, you feel like you wasted the day. But Homer, he just takes such joy out of the simplest things. He pees with the door open. He gets to snuggle up in bed like a warm, toasty cinnamon bun. He makes his patented space moon waffles. He watches TV, and it's like a fight that he really likes. And I just like that he can just appreciate being in his house doing nothing. And I know that sounds kind of weird, like, oh, okay, he enjoys doing nothing, but I have trouble doing that. I always start getting like really restless, and I always really feel like I wasted the day when I do something like that. So that's a lesson that I actually would like to take from Homer, and just be able to appreciate and just take joy from the simple things in life, you know? Just he gotta make moon waffles, and he got to stay snuggled up in bed, and he just was having the best time of his life. And I just really wish that I could have that attitude, especially, you know, days when I have it off. I was complaining about Disney Plus, how whenever you hit the skip intro, it goes straight to the TV credits rather than the opening couch scene. And I feel like lately, I want to say, it's weird, it's like only half of the episodes of the season, but it was really random. It would just skip to the couch gag rather than the TV scene, but other times it would go straight to the TV scene, so I don't know what's going on there. As far as the couch gags themselves, I feel like they repeat a lot of couch gags that I've seen. The big one being that, like, opening circus scene. I'm sure you've seen it if you've seen a couple of different Simpson episodes, but they repeat this one all the time, where, you know, they join the like, little can line, and then, like, the backdrop raises up, and there's, like, elephants on the balls, and there's Santa's little helpers jumping through, like, a flaming hoop or something like that. They have that scene a lot in this season. So I guess I'll just kind of talk about the characters now, a couple observations that I made throughout this season. The first one being Maggie is really, really smart. Like, they always show her assembling, like, the letter blocks, like, spelling out the words and equations and things like that. Like, I feel like each child that Homer and Marge has becomes smarter and smarter. But it might be, this is a future episode, we haven't gotten to this one yet, but the male Simpson gene is the one that makes you dumb, but all the female all the female Simpsons are actually really, really smart. So I feel like they always hint that Maggie totally knows what she's doing. There's the episode, A Streetcar Named Marge. Let me make sure that's the right episode name. Okay, A Streetcar Named Marge. And this one, Maggie, I feel, gets her very own plot line. I don't think this has ever happened before, where it just majorly focuses on Maggie. There's that one where Maggie ran away and Homer is trying to find her, but in this one, Marge is in a play, and so she drops Maggie off at a daycare, and it's kind of like this prison episode. Like, she's like flinging the ball in the crib because she gets the box, and she's not allowed to have her pacifier, so her and the other babies come up with this plan to go steal all of the pacifiers. And I feel like there's a lot of examples of Maggie actually being really, really smart. In the Simpson movie, I'm pretty sure she just takes out the main antagonist. It's been a second since I've seen the Simpson movie, but Maggie is secretly really, really smart, and I feel like a lot of that is Lisa's doing, because there's a lot of scenes where Lisa is helping to teach Maggie. I keep on forgetting that Skinner is pretty hardcore. Like, he's a Vietnam vet, and he always has, like, these flashbacks of Vietnam. In the Valentine episode, the I Love Lisa, he has a flashback, like, Valentine's Day is no laughing matter. But you know, he actually, like, he beats up the guys who are trying to sue him over the Disney because he has, like, this fair that says the happiest place on earth, and so they're like, oh, we demand you take this down by the Disney cooperation, and he, like, just totally takes him down and, like, chucks the briefcase at the guy's head. And I just feel like he's actually really, really hardcore, and they kind of make him more and more wimpy as the series goes on, but he's not the wiener that Bart would have you believe. In this season, the Simpsons' other neighbor, not Flanders, but on the other side, it used to be these two old people who would just kind of watch The Simpsons. They never really got much screen time, but they would just kind of ridicule The Simpsons. Anyways, they sell their house, and a single mother and a teenage daughter move in, and Bart ends up having a crush on the teenage daughter. And so, but the single mom, her name is Ruth, and she often makes appearances in the background as background characters. She does actually get her own specific episode with Marge, I believe, in the next season, but they really don't do much of her. It's more about, as far as neighbors go, it's more about Flanders. They don't really touch on Ruth a lot, and I'm surprised she's not more of a main character than she already is. They pepper in lots of random background characters that often don't get speaking roles ever again, but there's like the erotic dancer from The Simpsons Season 1. She appears in quite a lot. They like to use Sideshow Mel a lot too in the background. Just little things that I've noticed. Talking about Ruth kind of reminded me of the episode where they move in, and it sounds like Jimbo's voice is getting more and more gravelly. Before, in the season 1, he talks like this, kind of normal. Hey, I kind of like this kid. But then later on, as the series goes on, he gets a deep voice like this. Oh man, my pants are chafing me now. And so, I don't know, his voice is just getting more gravelly. And in this episode, you know, Bart, he's always crank calling Moe. I've always called it prank calling, but only recently, I want to say within the last couple of years, I found out it was crank calling. Prank calling seems like it would make more sense, but I guess it's just called crank calling. So Bart, he crank calls Moe all the time, always makes Moe say these funny names. And so to get back at Jimbo, who is dating his crush, he calls Moe and says, I'm Jimbo, I live here. Which, wouldn't Moe know where Homer lives? But anyways, he calls Moe to his house, and Moe has an axe. Like, what is he planning on doing to Jimbo just for crank calling him? And it just makes me wonder, because they also kind of almost touch on this, where I believe this is season 3, where the Germans buy the power plant. Bart, he has to go to Moe's bar, and Moe's like, wait a minute, I recognize that voice. Little Bart, and he's all happy. But it makes me wonder, what would Moe do if he found out that Bart was the one crank calling him all these years? Like, because he seriously had an axe. Like, what is he gonna do to Jimbo? He's a maniac. And so I wonder if he would give Bart a little more leeway, or if he was just gonna chop Bart up a little bit. I don't know. As far as the Flanders go, I think Todd is the favorite child. Because it's always Mr. Flanders, it's always Ned Flanders, and Todd. It's never Rod, because I correct me if I'm wrong, but Rod is the older one, he's the taller one, and Todd is the shorter one. But in all of the episodes featuring the Flanders kids, Rod is always in the background, and Todd is always the main focal point. Like in the Putt-Putt one in season 2, where they are mini golf, like in the mini golf tournament, it's always Todd. And like in the Christmas special, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire in season 1, it's always Todd riding on Ned Flanders' shoulder. So I think he is the favorite, and Rod is just go on over there. You know, like we don't care about Rod. It's all about Todd. This is the first season that kind of fleshes out Ralph. In the I Love Lisa episode, they finally give him a lot more speaking roles than he had before, and I feel like the modern day Simpsons kind of puts him more on the autistic spectrum. Like, he just says these really weird one-liners nowadays, but back in the day, like, he's still a really awkward and weird kid, but he has the intelligence enough to know that the other kids are laughing at him and to feel bad about it. There is a future episode where him and Bart have an eccentric episode where Bart becomes his friend, but he actually is, like, he has feelings and intelligence. In modern day Simpsons, he's just like a weird kid who says weird one-liners. And so I feel like they kind of don't really give him many speaking roles in today's Simpsons, but you really feel bad for him and you really relate with him in the earlier seasons, actually. Like, he has that whole performance in the presidential play where he plays as George Washington, and he does really, really well in it. Geez, Lurleen really went downhill, didn't she? This is the Marge versus the Monorail episode, but they have a lot of celebrities, like Leonard Nimoy, and they bring in Lurleen, and she just has like a completely different voice actor, I want to say, but she went downhill fast. Lurleen was the country singer, I believe, in season 3, that Homer almost has an affair with, and so I guess when Homer left, Homer was actually a really good manager and kept her on the straight and narrow. So when she doesn't have Homer as a manager, she just goes downhill, and I feel kind of bad. I want to say in a future season she makes a reoccurrence, and she's not like how she is portrayed in this episode, but I could be mistaken. They start using the squeaky acne teen a lot in this season, but he's always a different character. So let me rephrase that. They use the squeaky teen voice a lot, like, "Oh, Mr. Burns, I did it again." You know, as he always has all the minimum wage jobs, like the fast food worker. He always looks different in this season, but they always use that voice actor. Another voice actor that they use a lot in this one is Phil Hartman. He plays the Lionel Hutz. He plays Troy McClure, but he also plays a lot of central guest appearance roles. The first one coming to my head is the one where Bart, he joins the Big Brother program, and his big brother is super successful, and it's just Phil Hartman doing Phil Hartman's voice. I kind of find it interesting that he never tries to like change up his voice. Phil Hartman's voice is just enough. That's all that we need. It doesn't even matter if he's playing an entirely different character. One thing that I kind of noticed on this watch through, they've had this, it's kind of like this running joke throughout the series, but I've just kind of started really picking it up on this season. They reference themselves to the Flintstones a lot, and I always knew they were directly inspired by the Flintstones, but this one they just straight up have that intro. I really like that intro where the boss like rings the whistle, and it's just like the intro of the Flintstones where he like zips out, like he slides off of a big old tube instead of like a dinosaur, and like crashes into his car and breaks the window, and he starts singing like, "Simpson, Homer Simpson, he's the greatest guy in history." And I really like that intro, but they keep on referencing themselves directly to the Flintstones. I want to say 2 or 3 more times just in this season, but they've done it previously before. Another reoccurring joke that I really like that they do is I just like how the Simpsons growl when they eat, like, because they're just so ravenous. They just and there's the episode, I can't remember if it's in this season, I apologize, but Lisa, she takes the test, and she's going, like, they say that she's going to be a homemaker when she grows up. That's what she would be best at. And so Marge is like, "Well, you can be artistic in this. Like, look at this creative plate that I made. It's a smiley face." And Lisa says, they're not even going to notice. And Marge says, "Oh, you'll be surprised." And Bart and Homer, they just come and they always, I just think it's funny. All the Simpsons do it. Even Maggie does it, where she like takes out her pacifier to burp as they just ravenously eat their dinner. It's just a really fun season. I'm definitely gonna say it right now. It's my favorite season that I've seen so far. So as far as the order goes, I'm not sure if this is going to be a reoccurring thing, but I would say season 4 is my favorite out of the first 4. Then season 2 this view through. Then season 3. Then season 1. It is a really good season, full of memorable episodes and jokes. I just absolutely love it. I will give this a rating of 5 out of 5, obviously. Probably I want to say, in my head, this could change as I actually watch these seasons, but the next 4 seasons are probably going to be 5 out of 5s. It's just an amazing show, and we are in the golden era of it. Well, guys, that should be it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Simpsons Season 4 or The Simpsons in general. I'd be happy to hear from you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye!